Hey guys, welcome to Starcastic Remarks. My name is Ryan Chambers. Here in 1 second, we're going to be joined by two people that I very dearly adore. But before we get into today's after game review, thank you to DraftKings Sportsbook for being our sponsor of this episode, this podcast, and all of THPN. Stars lose by a final score today of 6-3. The score was not indicative of how I felt about the game, but we have a lot to talk about. So without further ado, let's go ahead and bring in Chris, who is the typical person on here. But it's good to see Juraj again. Hey, Juraj, how you doing, man?
Hey, great to see you guys. How are you guys doing on this lovely Saturday afternoon in Dallas, right?
Yeah,
Very good.
we were good. I mean, it's a good day. It's a good day. It's pretty outside. Everything's going well. It's just a little frustrating with how everything has been going in today's game. But Chris, let me get your initial thoughts, and then I'll get your initial thoughts on this game and what y'all thought. Chris?
Well, it was kind of a chaotic game through the first two periods, and then like just a bubble burst, and then 3 goals all in a row happened. Like the game was a close game the entire time, and the score just doesn't look like it at all. So really weird afternoon game. Oh, Ryan, you're muted.
My mic was muted. Sorry. You're right. What was some of your initial thoughts on this game today?
Well, I was completely sure that it will go to overtime since I'm staying up late for this game and doing the game review with you guys. But unfortunately, it did not. I wish it would go to overtime at this point. But for me, it's really another winnable game that was lost by the Stars. I think they had the game in their hands and lost it by the individual mistakes. Honestly, all games they lost throughout the season so far could have been won. So that's probably a good sign for the future. But still a little bit gutted how the third period unfolded here.
Yeah, so let's just go over just some quick notes over the game here tonight, guys. So obviously no Mira Heiskanen again, which we thought we were going to be able to see him in today's game, but that was a big storyline coming into the game before anything started. But literally about a minute and a half into the game, Mason Marchment gets a pass from Tyler Seguin, puts it in the back of the net, and it was off of a New York Rangers turnover. So Stars are up 1-0 right off the bat, and you can't really say it's the Minutemen because they're not really the Minutemen, but nonetheless, 1-0 Stars right off the bat.
It was also the 69th second of the game, so it was really nice to see.
Nice.
If you don't understand that, then you're not going to ever get the joke. Anyways, going through the first period, and I didn't really write much through the first 10 minutes of the first period, but there were chances both ways, and then there were some really good D plays by Hanley and Hintz specifically. And there was a good defensive play by Ryan Suter, but literally about 11 minutes, 18 seconds remaining in the first, score becomes tied from Chris Kreider. He scores off a rebound. It was a bit of a lucky bounce, but I mean, that's hockey right there, and it's 1-1 right there.
Yeah, that was just straight luck, in my opinion. I mean, he missed the net by a mile. It wasn't one of those passes off the boards because the Dallas boards aren't normally that bouncy, and he just got a weird kick, and it was just lucky for the Rangers, in my opinion.
And going through the rest of that period, there were some opportunities that Dallas could not take when it was getting out of their own zone. They could not get out of their own zone to save their life sometimes. And Robertson would hit the post off of the rush. Pavelski would get pulled down trying to go for a rebound. It doesn't get called. And then on the flip side, Lundqvist gets called for a penalty, and it puts the Rangers on the power play. One of the things that was mentioned is the Stars have the 6th best penalty kill in the NHL. I don't know if that's the case anymore right now, but nonetheless, it's a good stat to have. I was really frustrated about that, Juraj, that particular play when Pavelski was pulled down and Lundqvist was called for an interference penalty. And what did you think about that?
Yeah, I mean, it was frustrating for sure, but I was actually kind of interesting to see because Rangers were coming to the Dallas, like their power play was pretty cold at that point. And I was hoping that it will stay that way. Unfortunately, it didn't later in that game, but I think the kill was pretty all right. And the end of the first period was a bit sluggish from the Stars, but they still managed to have some scoring chances. I also wrote that SL Lindell had a scoring chance by the end of the first, but after it was like just a typical first period of the afternoon game, I would say. So with the chances on the both sides and the game pretty much still open at that point.
You're muted again, Ryan, but I'll go ahead and talk. It was a good change of pace from last year. Last year, the Stars really couldn't get going in the beginning of games, especially in afternoon games for whatever reason. We had a real problem with that, but it's good to see the Stars getting going quickly. In the whole first 5 minutes, it was really all Stars. I mean, they said it was a half-ice game, just all downhill. But especially in the second half, you're right, Ryan. The Rangers really kicked it up. It was kind of tale of two halves in that period, and the Stars were really on their heels at the end of that period.
But it was nice to see actually some activities on the ice in the first period, because last year, the first period, we were just like to be there and nothing happened at all. So at least some hockey happened, and there was some action on the both sides. So that was encouraging to see.
Yep.
So let's go ahead and get to the end of the first period. What happened at the end of the first period there? This was probably the most noteworthy thing up to that point. Dellandrea is skating by Shesterkin with literally 17 seconds left, and he clips Shesterkin. I think that was probably avoidable by Dellandrea. Did Shesterkin sell it? Oh boy, did he ever. He milked it for all it was worth. There was a scrum that would ensue on the other side of the ice. Obviously, all the Rangers want at Dellandrea because of their Vezina Trophy winner. And out of that, Panarin gets 2 for roughing, and then they give Dellandrea 4 minutes, I guess, total, 2 penalties, 1 for tripping and 1 for roughing. And it was just really frustrating. And I think coming out of the first period for me, I said it, the Stars have to stay out of the box. They have to stay out of the box. And if there's anything that we can talk about that needs to stop happening, is that if they stay out of the box, they win this game probably, in my opinion. I really think they do. So you have any other thoughts about the end of the first period, how the first period went, you guys?
Yeah, I mean, for me, this is just a reckless penalty by Ty, really, and totally avoidable. And for the thing about it, I mean, he did see what was going to happen. So it was like, yeah, Shesterkin did sell it, but so would Oettinger at his place. So I'm not totally concerned about that. And Rangers had pretty much all the intermission to prepare for the power play. And with the fresh ice, I mean, it was bound to happen. What happened afterwards? That they score by actually a nice feat to I think it was Trocheck who scored the second goal. So I mean, I think it's totally avoidable. I think DeBoer will have a word with Dellandrea actually to avoid these type of penalties, because they are just shooting to their foot really at this point.
I should have a word with all of them, because it's every single game is these penalties are happening, and nothing has changed. It's been 10% of the season so far with this game. Some's got to give.
So let's just go ahead straight into the second. Yeah, you mentioned the Trocheck goal already, Juraj. It was a power play goal. It was a great shot. I really wish Oettinger had had it, but I understand why he didn't. It was literally across the zone. So the Rangers go up 2-1, but literally 30 seconds after that, Hintz scores off a rebound, and the Minutemen do their job. I'm calling it a Minutemen goal because it's 30 seconds after they score. It counts, right? It was a shot from the point. Pavelski tipped it, and then Hintz Wood put it away in that sequence. So what did y'all think about that those particular 2 plays, both goals?
It was a good response by the Stars, and that first line was really the only line that was alive after the first period. They were the only ones getting chances the whole second and third period. And yeah, good that they're still going well, and they're the top line in the NHL right now too, but it's really those penalties that really cost you in the beginning of the game, or at the beginning of the period.
Yeah, and also like for me, they didn't like create sustained pressure the first line, but they were there when the things were happening. I mean, also later in the game, but it was just great response. I mean, I was still like in a very negative mood after Rangers scored, and the Stars immediately like equalized. So that was actually a bit of fun, like to have this response quick and like be it even game again. So I mean, it was I would consider it a good start to the period actually, so that they were able to stay equalized with Rangers after that power play.
Well, you talked about shooting ourselves in the foot, Juraj. Literally, not even 30 seconds after the goal by Hintz, Hanley takes an interference penalty. I mean, wasn't an interference penalty? Maybe, but at the same time, it's like you see
was
that
weak.
play all the time, and I was a little frustrated with that. But they would go on the power play. Hintz would have a shorthanded chance there. It was a really good chance. About 14 minutes, 27 seconds into the period, I wrote this down. The icing where it looked like Robo beat him out, and I guess he didn't, even though he really did. And then literally right after I wrote that, it comes back from a commercial break, and we get the stunning news that Jake Ottinger is no longer in the game. Wedgwood is in the game, and I put the question injured. What were your initial thoughts after hearing that, other than maybe concern?
Well, first of all, I thought that it could be some sort of a equipment problem because it was like really sudden and there were no signs of Ottinger actually being unhealthy or really injured or something like that. So yeah, first of all, I wasn't stressed at all, and there was like no updates whatsoever for a couple of minutes on Twitter feed. So then actually I became a little bit concerned. Wedgwood did actually perfect when he was tested early after he like jumped on the ice. So that was actually, at least that was a calming thing for me. But I think we'll probably talk about potential Ottinger absence later. But I mean, this is just what Stars fans were fearing probably the most. Like if Ottinger goes down, Heiskanen is already not playing, but he probably will return to the Kings game. So we'll see how major this injury is. I hope it's nothing serious, really. But Wedgwood, up until the third period, really held his own. And yeah, it's still a bit early to say, but I'm a bit worried, to be quite honest, as of right now.
Chris, what do you think?
Yeah, my initial reaction was, oh crap. And I thought the same thing. I was like, yeah, it has to be an equipment or something. But yeah, injury, and it might be a non-contact injury, which it would be worse. I was trying to look on Twitter to see if there's any update, and De Boer gave no update at all during post-game. So we're not going to know for a while probably about what's up with Ottinger. And from Wedgwood's play in the third period that cost us the game, we might be in some serious trouble.
Just really worried about what the goaltending situation could look like, because for the Stars, it seemed like a position of strength. I mean, even coming into this season, I know Hudobin's not a number 2 anymore or anything like that, but he's still a capable number 3, more than capable number 3. So anyways, we'll talk more about that here in a little bit, but what a welcome for Wedgwood to the game. It's, Chris Kreider right in front of the net after a Mason Marchment turnover. That was kind of scary. Dallas would go to the PK again. Lindell would have a good block, and it was Hanley for chipping. So Hanley with 2 penalties on the game. Zibanejad would score the second power play goal of the game, make it 3-2 Rangers. There was absolutely nobody in front. It was a good pass, and it's just unfortunate for the Stars there.
Bad defending.
Bad defending.
Yeah, I mean, I was also disappointed by Jani Hakanpää's performances lately, and this was another mistake, I think, from Hakanpää, if I remember correctly. If not, sorry about that, because my memory is still processing all the things that happened. But yeah, the coverage was lost, and Wedgwood didn't really have the chance on that one.
Yeah, no chance.
Dallas would go on the power play from a Keandre Miller interference penalty. It was okay, but nothing there. The Rangers would kill it. There was a beautiful windmill save by Wedgwood on a New York Rangers 4-on-3 rush. It was a great save by him. And then at the end of the period, it seemed like this was a huge goal that I thought it was going to be big for the Stars. Robo makes it 3-3 with a 5-hole goal on Shesterkin. It was like a broken play after a face-off. He takes it and pots it right down the 5-hole. It's 3-3 Stars.
And this is also why you have like star players, because they create something out of nothing, really. And this was exactly the case. Like when he scored, I have to be honest with you guys, I was sure that Stars would eventually win this game, because this was like the momentum shift. And once Robertson scored to make it 3-3 to the end of the second, really you could see or you could feel the momentum changing. And unfortunately, maybe I'm jumping a bit further on here. The momentum would eventually change for the Rangers, but this was definitely a star play move by Robertson to score really out of nothing here.
Yep. It's an $8 million play.
Exactly.
Yes.
7.75 to be
7.75. You're right.
So one thing I did notice, and I think this was glaring to me at the end of the game, was right after that goal, the Stars had a minute where it was just flat out straight towards Shesterkin. And they had two giant odd man rushes. It was a 3-on-1 and then a 4-on-2, and they squandered both of them. And they were not even able to get a shot off on either one of those. And those are the kind of things that in the Pete DeBoer system that you have to take advantage of. And I mean, we saw in today's game with the 3 Ranger goals in 2 minutes and 26 seconds or something like that, that it can change super quickly. So if they had an opportunity to get another goal off of those odd man rushes, and it didn't happen for the Stars, unfortunately. So that would end the second period. Going into the second intermission, what were your initial thoughts after the second period?
I was with you, right? I thought we were going to win after that. I mean,
I did too. No,
we take the lead late in the second after a real back and forth period with all the penalties, and we're still there. I thought we were gonna take it.
So going into the third period, Wedgwood is still in the net, but Otter is on the bench, so that's a little bit of relief for Stars fans, a little bit less anxiety, but he's still not in the game, unfortunately. So I guess it was enough of an injury to keep him out of the game, but not to keep him in the locker room. So right off the bat in the third period, I thought the Stars played great. I thought at the beginning of the period, it was by far their best period. And I felt that, like y'all two did, with that goal by Robo, that it was going to change. And it looked like it was going to. Robertson would appear to get his second goal of the game. Again, another 5-hole. It was a great play by Robertson, but it was very obviously offside. And, it was off of a coach's challenge. And, great for the Rangers head coach to do that, Juraj Gallant. But right after that goal, or right after that non-goal, I guess I should say, 3 goals in 2 minutes and 20 seconds for the New York Rangers. First one is Jones, second one is Gauthier, and the third one is Trocheck. The first one, Dallas just couldn't get out of their own zone. The second one, Wedgwood just made a split-second decision, and unfortunately, it was not the right one. And then the third one, it was just Trocheck scoring off of a 6-on-5 penalty there. So, I mean, I was shocked at that point. It was just like a complete breakdown from the Dallas Stars there. Was it a complete breakdown by them, or was it just, luck of the draw and the Rangers got lucky here?
No, that was a total breakdown. I mean, you got trapped in your own zone on the first goal and then let in a soft one too. I mean, it was off his body and then in the back of the net. He should have held on to that one, and by his body language afterwards, you could tell he agreed that he should have had that one. The next one, terrible decision. I mean, to come out of the net like that. Also terrible defending by both of the defenders. The forward just skates right between them. Don't know what happens there. And then the third one is just, it looked like laziness in the defensive zone after being upset they just let in 2 goals in a row. So
yeah, I think they were already distracted by the 2 goals, so their heads were already not in the game. Like, I like Scott Wedgwood, really like a backup. He's a great option for the Stars. He did some incredible saves right up until the 4th goal, but you gotta be true here, and he was partly to blame for both of the goals that really decided this game. First one, I mean, the Stars were trapped in their own zone, but the shot trickled through his glove. He gasped, and rightfully so, because he should have had it. And the 5th one, honestly, I don't know what he was thinking. Like, he went for a field trip there, and really, I mean, kudos for Julien Gauthier to finish it off like that, because it was tough angle and he was already like falling down. But those 2 goals actually decided the game, and Scott Wedgwood is partly to blame here. Will it happen with Jake Oettinger? Probably not, but I think I got the point that even if it was good to come back, Wedgwood was great up until that 4th goal. So the Stars bench and the coach staff really didn't have any reason to pull Wedgwood away from the game and return to Ottinger, even if Jake was healthy enough. So I was totally on board with Wedgwood continue to play that game, but sometimes like stuff happened, and and this one, I mean, he would like to have those 2 goals back for sure.
Agreed. Hey, Ryan, you're muted again. So I have nothing to talk about this time.
I'm really
Go ahead,
bad
Ryan.
at that. Sorry, I'm sneezing a bunch today, and I'm trying not to sneeze on my mic and like freak everybody out on the internet. So I'm just like, sorry. Go ahead, Chris.
No, I couldn't think of anything to say.
So you're just filling in for me. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well, anyways, what I was saying is after that, not really much happened. And after that, I was completely, I mean, what an emotional swing. You think you take the lead in a big game against the Rangers, and then they score 3 on you, and the game's over. So, I mean, there was a couple of Stars power plays there at the end of the game, but it was kind of pointless at that time.
Yeah.
I mean, what was your overall takeaway? Let's talk about specifically the third period for a second, and then we'll talk about what really happened in the game.
My overall, sorry, Chris.
Go ahead, Juraj.
Yeah, thanks. My takeaway was really that penalties killed them. Let's just say it straight up, like it killed them. And also, like, ice hockey is game of momentum, and if you manage to pull the maximum possible out of your momentum, you're gonna probably win. And the Stars nearly did it with Robertson. Like, really, even the 4th goal, which was then counted off, it was again like everything from nothing. Really, the loose puck, he take it and he scored. Then it was weighed off, rightfully so. But this was like another momentum shift for the Rangers, which then like totally capitalized on the 3 really quick goals, and that's it. Like game ended, and you really got to move on at this point.
Chris, what are your initial thoughts on the third period, and then what happened in this game?
I mean, the third period we were playing well, and then just like I said, blew up. I mean, the goaltending was not good on the first 2 goals of the third period. I don't like the mental toughness from the players after it either. I mean, you give up a goal or 2 like that, you should have some fight back, and they really just rolled over after those 2 goals happened, which is not good to see. And then just overall, we're still just taking too many penalties. I mean, you're not going to win when the other team has scored 2 power play goals and your best players are kept off the ice 5 different times. I mean, that's just not a winning recipe. Every game that we've lost this year, we've given up at least 1 power play goal. So there's the problem. I mean, we're the most penalized team in the league, and now we're out one of our best penalty killers and our goalie. So you're not going to win that way.
So, Chris, let me go ahead and go to you first, so I can give Juraj some time to think about it. But who is your biggest winner and biggest loser from this game? I have a couple, in my opinion.
Yeah, biggest winner, I'm going to give it to Robertson. I mean, he had an assist on the Rope goal, and then just the solo effort on the end of the second period was great and totally flipped the game on its head, or what we thought would flip the game on its head. And biggest loser, I guess, Ottinger, because he got hurt. But that's going to be really bad for the Stars if it's a longer lasting thing. And not getting any word after the game kind of scares me a little bit too. I mean, they said that doctors are checking him out now, so that is not a good sign in my opinion.
Yeah, really quick about Ottinger. There's I'm just now seeing this. This is from Saad Youssef. He tweeted this about 4 minutes ago. But this is Pete DeBoer, and the question was asked, was it a good sign that Ottinger returned to the bench? And he said, the fact that he left the game isn't a good sign. Jeff Reese, the goaltending coach, said that he hasn't seen Ottinger pull himself out of a game. I think that's probably the concerning piece. Yeah. Not to freak people out, but that is extremely concerning.
I'm thoroughly freaked out now.
Yeah, because
you're welcome.
Yeah, Jake is known, like, also from his Boston years. If he's partly injured, he stays in the game, and that was also the thing that I really think about it. If it was his call, then it could be really dangerous, like for us Stars fans, really.
Yeah.
So you're right. You want to give me your biggest winner and biggest loser from this game today? You got somebody specific?
Yeah, I mean, I have a couple of those. I mean, for a while it looked like Scott Wedgwood would be the biggest winner because he like came in relief for Attinger. He did look great. Once Jason Robertson scored that fourth goal, it was then disallowed. Like I thought Wedgwood was really. I also had like pre-written, and it was probably my fault that he then let those two goals because I have pre-written that Scott Wedgwood is one of the stars of the game for me. But then immediately after I wrote that, he let that fourth goal in, and really right now I have no like pure winners apart from the first line, which were at least on the score sheet, and they were also analytically, I think, pretty great. And so Robertson, Hintz, and Pavelski. And I agree with Chris. Robertson is probably the one I would highlight the most here. And as far for the losers, I have two. Unfortunately, Nils Lundqvist didn't have his greatest game against his former team. I really hoped he would like stick up to their asses, like to show them that he's really capable NHL defender, and he's better than, let's say, Braden Schneider or even Jacob Trouba. I think I still think he is. I still think it was a mistake for Rangers to let him go, and I'm really glad he's on the Stars. He just didn't have a greatest game. He was probably like way too motivated for this game, and I just hope he will be better in the next game. And the second loser I have is actually Joel Hanley, because he is a seventh defender. He is not supposed to be he's not supposed to be taking minors and two in the game, and he was really noticeable in a bad way for me. And this was not the greatest game by Henley's standards at all. So I hope Heiskanen is back for the next game, because Joel Henley is really your like optimal seventh defender who is capable of joining the game if somebody is injured. But today we've seen that why probably he's not the day-to-day starter like in NHL lineup.
He had 2 penalties in only 12 minutes of ice time, too.
That's pretty bad.
That's almost lowest on the entire team, including forwards.
So my biggest winners and biggest losers for today. My biggest losers was anybody who took a penalty, because I'm not going to single one person out because there was too many. I mean, there's too many penalties, and I think I don't even know what the stat is, but I swear we have taken 4 or more penalties in every single game this year so far. And actually, what I was thinking about during the game is this a sequence? Is this because of the system that Pete DeBoer puts in? Like I think what I'm going to do later tonight is go through and do some research. And is this a byproduct of the Pete DeBoer system? You know, with his past teams, have those teams been super heavily penalized or whatever? So I'll probably do that later tonight. But with those are my biggest losers. My biggest winner, I guess Blumel, because he's going to get in the lineup next on Saturday, or excuse me, when's the next game? Tuesday night. Okay, he's going to get in the lineup because Garyanov was not noticeable at all. And if there's anybody that's going to get scratched, it's going to be Garyanov. And Blumel will get in. I'd love to see him on that second line. So we'll see how that goes. Just to end with some stats for you guys today. Shots on goal per period, 10-7 in favor of the Stars in the first, 15-13 in favor of the Stars in the second, 8-7 in favor of the Stars in the third. Overall, 33-27 in shots in the game in favor of the Stars. Face-off was 54-46 in favor of the New York Rangers. And then today, this was the stat line that kills the Stars. In the power play, the Rangers are 2 for 5, but really they were 3 for 6, if you think about it. And the Stars were 0 for 4. So we got out special teams today. And between that and Wedgwood not getting us a couple of the saves that I think he probably wants back, those are the two biggest differences in the game for here today for me, guys. Anything else that we need to mention? Because I think we're just about time.
Next game, like we said, it's on Tuesday, November 1st against the LA Kings, 7:30 start.
Yeah, let's just end on a high note here, because Kings are coming. It will be the second night of their back-to-back. They're playing the Blues. They also, playing right now against Toronto, so it's also their third game in 4 nights. So this is like ideal chance for the Stars to really bounce back and to get a win. Also, probably if Ettinger is not able to play, to get a win for Scott Wedgwood against his former team as well.
Need a win there.
Well, and let's end with an even bigger high note for personally for you, Juraj. The last time we talked to you, you didn't have a writing gig, and now you do. So it's congratulations to you. He's writing for DefendingBigD out there. That's a pretty big deal, man. I'm really happy for you. If you want to go and check out any of his work, you can go and check out any of his work there on DefendingBigD. You can also follow him on at Kralik Juraj, I believe, if that's what it is. Is that right?
Yeah, you're probably one of the few people in Dallas who pronunciate it correctly. So thanks for that.
You're welcome. He is Slovak, by the way. He lives right outside of Bratislava, so that's pretty cool that he's out there. Well, along with Chris and along with Juraj, my name is Ryan. You guys, thank y'all for joining us today. Thanks to our sponsor, DraftKings Sportsbook. And we will catch you guys on the flip side. We'll be back with you guys on Tuesday evening after the game against the Rangers or against the Kings. Man, I'm off today. Juraj will be back with us in the future, mostly more on the afternoon game side. And we'd happy to have you on anytime, Juraj. Thanks for joining us today.
Happy to be here. Thanks for your invite, guys.
And for everybody else, we love y'all. We appreciate the support, and we'll catch you guys later. Bye.